Hey, I'm Kai, and in case you didn't see my first video on the matter, I picked up this Schecter KM7 in a trade for my Balaguer Ether. Now overall it was a pretty great experience, however there were some pretty serious issues with it. I could tell that this guitar had potential though, so I was absolutely willing to put in the money, the effort and the time required to make this play as good as it should. Let's talk about it, but first we have to hear how it sounds now. The first and most major issue with this guitar was the fretwork. I'm not sure if this was from the factory or whether someone had messed with it over time or whether this was just due to age, as this guitar's about 10 years old now, but there were high spots, there were low spots, and it was generally pretty inconsistent. The fret ends felt good though, it was mainly just the fret tops that needed attention. I took the time to level them, crown them, polish them, all that good stuff to get them as good as I can get them. This took a fair amount of time because Schecter used stainless steel frets on their guitars, and this stainless steel in particular is very hard, unlike the stainless steel on my Harley Benton bass for instance. Now while it did take a long time to do, hopefully this means it's going to last a long time too. If you're interested in the tools that I used to make this happen, I used the leveling beam and the notch straight edge from Crimson, I used the Z-file from StewMac, then I used some fret erasers, and AutoSol for polishing. Now I wouldn't call myself a guitar tech or anything like that, I'm still fairly new to the world of fret jobs. This is maybe the 7th or 8th one I've done, and I could have got it a little bit cleaner, a little bit smoother, but this is so much better than it was before. One minor funny thing I want to add on while we're talking about the frets is I actually didn't like the extra jumbo profile of these frets when I got it. Taking a little bit off the height of the frets is usually a major red flag and something that most people try to avoid. However, this has worked really nicely for me. I did give the guitar a setup when I first got it, however, with changing the height of the frets and everything, that all had to be reset anyway. I've restrung the guitar with a slightly heavier gauge than I used in my last video. Previously I was using the 9.5 to 44 set with a low 66, and now I'm using a 10 to 46 set with a low 70. These are drop tension sets from Windspear strings. These allow me to keep a balanced tension across all 7 strings. One major benefit about this setup is that I was able to get the action so much lower than I had it before. When I was playing it at around 2.5mm on the low string, I could feel that the guitar wanted to be lower, and now that I've got it down to 1.5mm, it's such a dream to play. The next most pressing issue was the tuners. Again, I'm not sure if this was something that was just like that from the factory, or whether it's a factor due to 10 years of age and possible misuse down the line, but these stock tuners were super slippy and just kept being really inconsistent as I was tuning them. I was initially looking at going for hipshot tuners on this one since it's already got the hipshot bridge, and that would be a markable upgrade over these stock tuners. However, I decided to take a risk instead and go for a set of Vanson tuners. These cost me about £38 I think, and they've held up really well so far. They're nice and smooth to turn, the locking mechanism feels super secure, just generally a really good experience. It is kind of a risk to buy cheaper parts like this because if you go for hipshot, you know that you've got a great part, you know it's going to hold up well, and you know that if it doesn't, you've got a great line to the customer service. However, sometimes taking a risk on this kind of thing can be worth it. I will of course come back to the comment section of this video if at any point these do decide to fall apart on me. The final sort of issue that I found with this guitar was the wiring. It was really inconsistent to get to the neck pickup, and the pickup selector just felt like it wasn't working properly. Now I've actually done basically nothing about this. I unscrewed the back cavity and I pushed the wires back in at a different angle, and now it's holding up a lot better. This would benefit from fully resoldering everything, taking it all out, putting it all back in, but the cables in there are already pretty short, the cavity's super small to work in, and it is working for now, so I don't really want to break something if it's not broken. Basically, if I can't guarantee that I can do a better job than what's already on there, then it's not worth the risk to me. Now I'm going to re-review this guitar since the first video maybe wasn't too favourable. It's had new fret job, new tuners and a full setup, so it's playing so much better than it was before. I am really glad that I put the time into this one because it's turned out to be so worth it. Of course the guitar was good before and it sounded great because of the Seymour Duncan Nazgul Sentium pickup set, but now it's sounding even better. There's no high frets, we've got a nice low action, all the frets are super smooth so it's really nice to bend on, and it generally just feels more like playing a brand new guitar. I am definitely going to be grabbing a couple more sets of these Vanson tuners. They seem to be working really well for budget tuners, and I think they go great on the new G4M guitars I've been trying out. I don't really have any more future plans for this guitar, I think I can call this done for now. If the electronics do play up then I'll, replace them. Other than that, we've got a slight issue on the low strings intonation screw where it's sort of bored out, but it's in the right spot, it's holding for now, so again, just going to leave it until it becomes a problem. Speaking of the saddle actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that this original hipshot bridge has got quite a sharp corner on it, so I've just knocked that off with a file and it's much more comfortable now. So yeah, I can safely say I'm much happier with this guitar now that it's been set up properly. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end, I do really appreciate it. If you'd like to check out another one of my videos, there'll be a link on screen to the video that YouTube thinks you'll most enjoy. That's all for this one though, so until next time, I've been Kai.